Hello, and if this is your first time on my channel, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back to Prickly Pineapple Gaming. Today we are going to be working on our Reaper's Rewards for week 2. Last week we worked on quests that involve some cooking and gardening and making acquaintances with the Grim Reaper. If you have not completed week 1, you can follow the link in the description down below to my full walkthrough for Reaper's Rewards week 1. And then once you're completed there, you can come back and we're going to get started on week 2. So once you've completed week 1, when you open your game, you're going to be met with this pop-up that says Reaper's Rewards Week 2. It's time to get your hands a little dirty. You'll need to dig a hole or two for this next step, but I can't help you. It's time for me to take a non-eternal nap. Complete the Digging Holes and Friends with Death quest, and good luck. As you notice here, just like last week, our quests are going to be up in the upper left-hand corner. We have our Digging Holes and Friends with Death quest. And just like with last week, you can complete them in any order, and you can kind of go between and do tasks from one, tasks from the other, and go back and forth. But we're just going to pick one and work through it, and then we'll move on to the next one. Today, we're going to start with Digging Holes. To start off, we have order a starter fruit seed packet and catch 3 fish. We're going to start with our gardening task first, and we need to order a starter fruit seed packet. So to order our starter fruit seed packet, we can either go into build mode and purchase our seeds there, like we did last time, or we can click on a planter and click purchase seeds like I'm doing here. That completed the first part of our task, and that has now been replaced by 2 new tasks, which is plant an apple and plant a cherry. We're just going to go into our inventory and open the seed packet, and hopefully you'll get our cherry or apple to plant. If you did not get both of those fruits, then you can either order more seed packets or you can buy an apple and cherry directly by doing a grocery delivery through clicking on either the fridge or through your cell phone, or you could go to the garden stall in Hinford Bagley to see if they have any as well. Now to complete the actual task of planting our apple and our cherry, we are going to plant them in either a garden pot, a planter box, garden patch, or directly into the ground. Now a note about the cherry, you can complete this planting a cherry task by planting it in a garden pot, but it's not going to germinate and start growing, so I do suggest you plant it in a planter box at the very least. I tried planting it into the garden pot and then I ended up moving it into the planter box. Once we have planted both our apple and our cherry, our next task is going to be fertilize 2 plants. Our apple and cherry are going to be too new to be able to fertilize them, so you can choose the lily and snapdragon plant that you planted before or any other plants. It really does not matter. Once you have completed fertilizing your plants, that's going to leave us with our catch 3 fish task. So you just need to head over to your favorite fishing spot. We chose the lake that is right next to our house, and so we just had to walk over there and start fishing. So this one is just going to be waiting for your sim to fish and catch fish. And you know, it might take a little bit longer too if your sim catches something else besides a fish, like mine caught an apple. But at least our sim is getting lots of practice in fishing and upping that fishing skill, because I feel like that is going to come in handy later. So once we have completed catching all 3 fish, that has completed our Digging Holes quest, and you're going to be greeted by this pop-up that says Digging Holes, your garden is really coming together and your fishing skills aren't too shabby either. Reward is event points, and keep nurturing your plants and catching fish. So now that we have completed the Digging Holes quest, we will be moving over to our Friends with Death quest. We need to read the Ambrosia Society's newsletter and become friends and socialize with the Grim Reaper. We're going to start with reading the Ambrosia Society's newsletter, and in order to do that, we're going to have to either wait for the mail to be delivered, or you can expedite mail delivery for 103 simoleons. Either way, once the mail has been delivered, you're going to click on your mailbox and click Get Mail. Once you have gotten the mail, you're going to click into your inventory for your sim and click the Ambrosia Society newsletter and click read. This week's edition of the Ambrosia Society newsletter says, this week we continue to work on gardening. You'll also need to make sure you start getting satisfaction points. You'll need them later. Ambrosia requires some creative plant manipulation, so you should also grab a cutting of lily and snapdragon this week. Check out Magnolia Blossom Park in Willow Creek to find some wild lily and snapdragon. I'm not sure why it says that, because it specifically had us plant a lily and snapdragon last week, so we should have it directly on our lot. But if for some reason you don't already, you can head to Willow Creek and get those cuttings there. So once we've read the Ambrosia Society newsletter, we're going to get 2 new objectives for our quest, which is fulfill an aspiration goal and cook a recipe while level 4 or higher. So we're going to start with fulfill an aspiration goal. So we're just going to click on our aspiration icon just to see what our goals are. Scarlet's aspiration is Chief of Mischief, so we need to either perform 10 mean or mischievous interactions or be disliked by 2 Sims. We're going to do the first one because that's just going to be a little bit easier. We already have the mail woman here at our house, so we're just going to be mean and mischievous towards her. So we are just pulling a lot of pranks on poor Sadie here, slapping her silly, tricking with the hand buzzer, what's that spot, stuff like that, doing some mean interactions like insults and yelling and whatnot. But your specific aspiration is going to be different, so this will vary, but just pick an aspiration goal and complete it. So once you have completed that aspiration goal, that objective is going to be replaced by a new one, which is take a cutting of a plant. We went right into trying to complete that take a cutting of a plant. We clicked on both of our lily and our snapdragons to see if we could get a cutting of those, but that option is not available right now. I believe we need to get our gardening skill level up. So we're just gonna work on that gardening skill a bit, working in our garden, harvesting some plants and selling them, and just doing some watering and research and fertilizing and anything we can really do to up that gardening skill. So we get our gardening skill up to level 4. Take cutting is still not an option because it turns out we need to be level 5 of gardening, so we do some more gardening tasks trying to up that skill some more. But I started to get a little bit tired of doing all the gardening stuff, so I moved on to our next task, which is to cook a recipe while level 4 or higher. We're only a level 3 cooking skill, so Scarlet just needs to up that a bit, and so we opted to have her read a cooking book to up that skill. So we're just reading some. Scarlet finished reading Cooking Volume 1 again, and instead of continuing with reading and reading that book yet again, we moved on to upping our skill by actually making dinner. Also, she was already kind of hungry, and as soon as she completes making her salad, she actually levels up to a level 4 cooking skill, and that completes our cook a recipe while level 4 or higher task. And that task is then replaced by the apply the Scare Seeker lot challenge to your lot. And I had actually never really messed with lot traits or lot challenges and applying them myself, and so this was something new for me. So in order to apply this lot challenge, we're going to go into build mode, and in our upper left hand corner you're going to click the little eye house. Once you click the eye house, it's gonna bring up a little pop-up, and we're gonna click the little octagon question mark, and this is where we can set our traits and challenges. So the little house with the 3 little octagons, those are our traits. We're just gonna click the triangle with the trophy on it, and that's where we can set a challenge for the lot. So we're just gonna go ahead and select our Scare Seeker trait and go back to live mode, and that completes the task. So next we're going to move on to our become friends and socialize with the Grim Reaper task. So all we need to do to get Grim back on our lot is we're going to just click on our Grimophone and click summon Grim. I'm really loving how easy it is to get Grim on our lot with that Grimophone instead of having to kill off Sims. And so once Grim gets there, all we're going to do is we just got to interact with him. Any way you want to socialize with him is great, as long as it is positive interactions to get to that friendship level. I personally like spamming get to know, just because Grim always has different traits in every save, so it's kind of fun to figure out what his different traits and such are. This Grim is an animal enthusiast. I also really love when I ask him his career and then he just says, "I enjoy my job. The customers rarely complain." Really, Grim? Really? I wonder why that is. And once you have completed enough positive interactions with Grim, that's going to make us friends and complete that task for us. And that just leaves us with our last task, which is take a cutting of a plant. In order for us to do that, we just have to get back to leveling up our skill. We need a level 5 for gardening. We start by doing a few more gardening tasks. But honestly, doing those gardening tasks can get a little tiresome. So we then switched it up and opted to read. So we just clicked on our bookcase and clicked purchase books and bought the gardening volume 2 because the volume 1 is below our skill level and we aren't learning anything if we just reread that book. As soon as we have leveled up to level 5 gardening, we go back to our plants and we take a cutting from one of our plants, and that completes all of the tasks for our Friends with Death quest. And we get this final little pop-up here, which is Friends with Death. The Grim Reaper can be so friendly. Reward is event points, of course, and keep working on your aspiration. Here are the rewards that we earned this week. We have the Gardening Volume 2 book, as well as Instant Fun and Hygiene Potions. And those items you can only claim in a specific save, so make sure you're claiming these rewards in the save that you want those rewards in. Other than that, we do have some more permanent rewards, which are our Trad Goth jeans, which I think those are pretty cute. I look forward to using those. The Starborn Freezer Bony, and then the Green Lady's Lost Tome. Now, a note about the Green Lady's Lost Tome. I was a little bit confused as to where to actually find this because it's a book that your Sims can read and build skill, but you cannot buy it through the bookcase. In order to get this one, you have to go into build mode, and it's under the activity and skill section for furniture. And you can also use the event rewards filter to find it. That is it for week 2 of our Reaper's Rewards. Thank you for joining me. I feel like this week took a little bit more time to complete than last week, but it was still fairly easy to follow along and complete, and I enjoyed it. I think they're a fun enough quest. It's like an objective for me to work towards, but easy enough to not be too overwhelming to complete. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed my video, please like and subscribe. I will be back next week to do a walkthrough for the Reaper's Rewards Week 3.